Hi ducks, I'm gonna talk while cleaning my makeup brushes because I am trying to get better at multitasking in 2017. Time is weird, the new year's weird. I always feel like the timing of, January 1st is very off because it's the middle of winter and, we don't have seasons as it is in Los Angeles. If you were in New York, like, it's gonna be snowy and cold and snowy and cold the next day. There's not really a drastic shift, whereas, like, I gotta say, Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah got the whole New Year thing totally figured out because, like, yeah, but then at the harvest season, you have specific times for feasting and a specific time for feeling guilty. I also didn't get to go to any New Year's parties this year because I was sick. I went to bed at 10 p.m. and had a lot of cough syrup, and I'm not bitter about it. I have a knockoff beauty blender, but I'm using the beauty blender cleanser, but you can also just use like dish soap and olive oil. I haven't cleaned my makeup brushes in I think since June. I also hate talking about New Year's resolutions because I'm very superstitious and paranoid, but all of my complaining aside, 2016 was a very interesting year for me. I don't want to join the crowd that just laments everything bad that happened last year because, to be sure, a lot of very awful things happened in the last year. I have a link to a really good article by Gia Tolentino on that sort of caterwauling. So I don't want to be a part of the apocalypse crowd, not because I didn't have a difficult time last year. I definitely almost died on multiple occasions, but I'm just trying to be more positive and focused. I'm very positively seeking vengeance this year. Really great things happened to me last year. I went to Young Arts. I became Youth Poet Laureate of Los Angeles. I started my Etsy shop. I left the country for the first time. Went to France and Ireland. I got to go to New York twice for poetry reasons. It was a lot of really good growth and learning things, and now I get to figure out what I'm gonna do with all of that stuff, and I'm very grateful for all of those opportunities. I do have some resolutions. Continue to be pretty good at taking care of my body and hair. I got a haircut. I didn't mean to cut my hair this short, but the girl who was styling it didn't know how to deal with split ends on thick hair, so she just kept going. I think it's really cute, and I think I'm gonna keep it this length for a while because it's so much healthier. I'll take better care of my voice. I'm gonna answer emails faster and get my Tumblr inbox clean because it's at like 2,000 messages right now. Buy cosmetics that don't test on animals, buy from smaller businesses, stop buying entirely from fast fashion retailers, all on my very limited student budget, of course, but the idea is that I don't buy stuff. Then when I do buy stuff, also take better care of my clothing in general so that it lasts longer. I'm gonna go to even more protests and marches. I'm gonna be tweeting out stuff that's happening in Los Angeles, so if you're local, follow me on Twitter. UCLA has a lot of fun events cooking up. I'm gonna try to make weekly videos, but I'm also a college student, so no promises there. I do want to make more explicitly feminist, explicitly educational videos, because to be completely upfront, I have shied away from those topics on purpose for a couple reasons. It is very tiring to write and research those scripts and make sure that I'm getting all my facts right. It's also very tiring to get very hateful comments and emails and death threats. And this shouldn't be surprising, but making a video about hair care and making a video about the American history of reproductive rights is much, and that's not saying that these videos don't also require effort, it's just that these videos demand much more research and fact-checking and emotional discomfort and making yourself into a target, It's also just difficult talking about complex topics through video form. I remember talking about this with Savannah when she was in LA, and we were both like, yeah, I want to talk about these complex, nuanced topics, but how can I talk about all of those things in like a 5-minute video without overloading people with sources or sounding overly pretentious and like trying to convey all of this information in such a way that different people at different levels of processing could process it. Like when I talk about the history of American reproductive rights with one of the baby girls that I mentor, it's much more intimate and personal and conversational because I'm right there with her than trying to boil everything down for an online video. But who am I kidding? I love research. I love explaining complex topics, so you will be getting much more lovingly grumpy video essays from moi. I want to talk more about books because I'm reading so many neat things right now. My proper poetry collection is also coming out this spring, which is very exciting, so I'll be doing lots of interesting things with that. I have a bunch of links in the description relating to my resolutions and activism, and also just some YouTubers that I've really liked the last year and are really good at explaining complex topics in nice ways. Today's fact is that in the US, at least 1 septillion snowflakes fall on the ground every winter, and absolutely none of them land in Los Angeles. That's all for me. I'm going to go watch Hidden Figures and then get back to work. Later, nerds! I just washed like a year's supply of boy brow out of this spoolie.